Hi friends, we're going to talk about how we reprogram, align, and execute in the mastermind to making consistent 5-figure months. And stay tuned to the middle part of this live because I'm actually going to give you some actionable steps that you can take this week in your content and your messaging to increase your sales and conversions. So let's dive into it. So I just mentioned reprogram, align, and execute. That is the Master Your Mind framework. That is what we do consistently again and again and again to reach each new income level in your business. But the first part of that is reprogram. So if you've ever wondered why consistent 20K months feel out of reach, no matter how much strategy you throw at your business, it still feels out of reach, then this live is for you. You're going to want to stay tuned. We're diving into a couple of the real reasons. I love this little thumbs up. A couple of the real reasons why your income stalls or dips down, or why you have like one really high income month and then it dips down again. And the first part of this within this reprogram, align, and execute framework is going to be the reprogram part. So this is actually going to be your subconscious mind. So here's the thing. If your subconscious mind isn't on board with $20,000 months, it will sabotage you every step of the way to get there. And I'm going to talk about a few different ways that you can experience this sabotage in just a moment, but also how to fix it. So what most people don't realize is that your subconscious mind controls 95% of your everyday actions, your behaviors, your thoughts, your emotions, and therefore your actions. So it also dictates your results. So it's essentially like the operating system that is running in the background and running your business behind the scenes. So even if you consciously want 20K months, your subconscious believes maybe big money isn't safe, or that you're not worthy of success, or that making that much will mean stress or burnout, or it will essentially do whatever it can to keep you where you are if you have those beliefs under the surface. So this is why you might procrastinate on showing up, undercharge for your services, avoid launching or selling altogether, or constantly hit an income ceiling. And no matter how much effort you put in, right, you're always like, let me take more action, let me show up more, let me start the podcast, let me show up on TikTok. It doesn't matter. You still hit that block, or maybe you're consistently plateaued between like 8 to 10K months. So if this sounds familiar, you're in the right place. So maybe you've had a 10K or even a 20K month before, but your income dipped back down and you couldn't hold it. You told yourself next month will be the same, I'm gonna make that again, but instead your income dipped. So you're on this like roller coaster, right? And maybe those high income months come when someone pays in full, but you just can't sustain this like high level. So now you're stuck overthinking, doubting yourself, feeling like you don't know what's wrong in your strategy. I hear that a lot. Like, when I just find this missing piece, then I will have it all figured out. When I just find this one thing, then I'll have it all figured out. Everything will be fine. Maybe you even think like no one can pay a higher price point, or you say like only one person has signed up at this higher price point, so I can't raise my rates yet. And you feel really good when you get consistent sales, but if you don't, your mindset tanks. So you avoid risks when things feel slow. Like, you may want to invest in something, but you think I should do that after I sign another client versus the other way around. So you're delaying launches, you're constantly tweaking. The strategy is a big one that people constantly tweak. Like their messaging, for example, they're always thinking like, my messaging is off. What is my messaging doing? Why is my messaging not converting? And that's a subconscious block. Your mind is essentially saying the next level isn't safe, so we're going to find something that's wrong in our strategy currently. Holding back invisibility, attributing success to luck. That's a huge one. Saying yes to everything versus like rest and self-care. Doing things that don't actually like move the needle forward and make money, like fixating on a website or fixating on Pinterest or something like that. Avoiding tasks that will move the needle forward, like lives or like a behind the scenes video or like a YouTube video, like a TikTok video. Over delivering is huge, or prioritizing clients over yourself and your business. So I just listed a lot of different symptoms that people experience that block them. But the truth is that you're not bad at business. You're not bad at marketing. You're not bad at your messaging. The market isn't too oversaturated. It's that your subconscious mind is stuck in survival mode, clinging to old beliefs that don't align with the version of you who makes 20K months with ease. So this is where the first part of the framework, reprogramming, comes in. So again, it's, you're new here, reprogram, align, and execute to 20K months. So the good news is that you don't have to stay stuck. You can reprogram your subconscious mind to then align with the identity of a 20K month earner, and then to execute that strategy, that aligned strategy that we've created in this part of the framework, to 20K months. So the way that we do this in the mastermind is in a couple of different ways. One, personalized and tailored hypnotherapy audios or hypnotherapy sessions with me, once monthly one-on-one calls where we either go into the strategy piece, the aligned strategy piece, or we do the deep subconscious mindset work. So we're actually working together one-on-one in a call where I'm spotting those blocks and helping you overcome them. The other piece is the business business audit that we do at the beginning of our work together. So when you join the mastermind, you actually get a 14-page business audit that looks at the subconscious blocks that you're experiencing in your business right now, but then also helps me identify the blocks in your strategy in your business. So overall, we can get to the second part of that framework. And then also just in our chats one-on-one. So we do that through a lot of different ways, hypnosis audios, the tailored one-on-one sessions, and also helping you embody the identity that you want to be, or that 20K month identity. So that is the first part of the framework. That has to happen in order to get to the next part of the framework. I always talk about your subconscious mind being like the foundation to a house. So in my house right here, like I could continue to build the most beautiful, most aligned like house and just have this beautiful home that I'm sitting in, right? And if my framework or my foundation of my house is not sturdy. So let's say there's like limiting beliefs under the surface, there's doubts, there's fears, there's self-sabotage under the surface, right? It does not matter how big I build that house, it's going to come crumbling down at one point. So like an example of this might be what I mentioned before, where you hit 20K one month, but then it all crumbles down and you have another 8K month or something like that, right? Because of that foundational piece under the surface. So we start there. Once we get into the align side of things, that is where we're really, moving the needle forward in your business. And we're doing these all simultaneously, right? It isn't just we start here and we move here, right? Like to scale, we're looking at all of these pieces at all times. So the subconscious reprogramming piece is going to be repetition. It's going to be again and again and again. You're going to see massive shifts, and then you're going to see small, things move forward, and then you're going to see massive shifts, right? And that's something that we're doing constantly. The align piece is something we're doing constantly. You might hit your first 12K month, and then we're back to, again, looking at your business strategy, what actually needs to tweak or move in order to move the needle forward. So in our business audit, I already mentioned this, but in our business audit, what we do is we look at a few key pieces in your business. So we look at offers, we look at pricing, we look at capacity, we look at your sales process and gaps. And then from there, we can align your business to the next level. So that's going to look like brand building, your brand voice, your values, the differentiator in your business, what sets you apart, how we position you as the expert, your brand story, and the buyer journey in general for sales on repeat in your business. That also leads us into aligning your business strategy and your marketing, messaging, visibility, launching, building community, those things that are going to actually move the needle forward. And then the systems side of things as well too, operations, like does your business actually, one, can you hold in your product suite the number of clients that you want? But two, do your operations and your systems actually align with the client tell that you want to bring into your business? So I know for me, if I'm investing in like a high level space and I go to, apply with someone and they don't have any systems in place and, it's just like a shit show behind the scenes, I'm like, what the heck did I just invest in? Like I look at those things as a high ticket buyer. So we also look at the operations and the systems behind the scenes in your business. So we have sales on repeat. So you're not doing things that don't actually move the needle forward. And then team and funnels and client experience is a huge one in the mastermind as well too. So team and funnels being again sales on repeat, but also growing your business to the next level. So you're not doing things in your business that are actually not doing anything for you, putting time when time could be put elsewhere, actually making money and moving the needle forward. So a lot of my clients in the mastermind end up investing in OBMs or some sort of VA or team member while they're in our work together. So one of the number one issues, which I mentioned at the beginning of this live, that I was going to give you some actionable steps in your marketing and messaging to implement this week. One of the number one issues that I see when people come into the mastermind when it comes to increasing income and hitting higher income months or signing higher ticket clients is their messaging and marketing. So this is one of the main pieces within that align part of the framework that we look at. So there are some mistakes that I see a lot of coaches make, and especially if they are selling intangible wins, like they are a mindset coach, a spiritual coach, a health coach, anyone that is selling like intangible wins, i.e. they're not selling money or Stripe screenshots, maybe identity work, maybe spiritual coaching, maybe energy work, something like that. And it's also important to note that I've been selling intangible work, like hypnotherapy is not very tangible, for 5 years now, and I over the summer even welcomed 15 new humans into all of my spaces without marketing Stripe screenshots, without money wins, without huge client transformations. I had a 35K weekend over Black Friday just simply from marketing intangible transformations. I don't often talk about my own income or even client income, and I do bring that in, but it's not needed in order for me to create sales. And so I help a lot of clients that have those intangible wins in their business. And some of the things that I, see that they're doing wrong is that they are over-educating on the modality versus, highlighting the transformation. They are, saying things like, this is why you need subconscious reprogramming, or this is why you need like XYZ thing, right? Versus like selling the transformation. And so in order for me to get to a point where I'm consistently selling these types of offers without necessarily saying hypnotherapy helps you make more money, I had to sell me through my own story. So I have to talk about my own journey. I'm a living, breathing embodiment of the work that I preach. So I get real, raw, and honest with my audience via my email list and via Instagram and Threads about what this type of work did for me. So the first actionable content prompt that I want you to implement while we're talking about this align piece of the framework is that I want you to tell a piece of your story that aligns with the work that you have. So I even did this over this last week around my mastermind. I told a story about how I hit my first 20K month and how that felt for me and what that shifted and like what was actually happening behind the scenes, and also that I'm a living, breathing embodiment of doing this work and holding myself to a higher standard every single day. So you can tell, a story in your content about when it all clicked for you, or when things really started to shift, or how that felt for you, right? So that's my first takeaway from this live I want you to implement this week, especially because a lot of people are in the mode of investing right now as we're getting into the new year. The next piece is being really, really freaking confident in your marketing. So once we do all of that audit within your whole brand and business that I already mentioned in the align piece, we're also looking at how your subconscious ties into the marketing that you do every single day. So 88 to 95% of communication is subconscious. That means that without you even knowing it, your subconscious beliefs are being shown in your marketing and how you hold your body in the words that you use, because that's just how it works. They're all pulled from a subconscious place. So when you are, saying one thing, like saying, I can help you do this, but doubting yourself behind the scenes, that's when we run into issues with conversion, because there's that embodiment piece, that, congruency that we're missing between the subconscious and what you're trying to say online. So we look at that congruency between what's happening under the surface that could be potentially, blocking you from creating the sales that you want online. And that requires that you're confident, really, really confident in your marketing, and owning the fact that you're the best at what you do, having a specific framework that you take your clients through, that you can market about, that builds trust and allows your clients to, repeat the process again and again, get the same transformation again and again and again. And that will, overall provide trust for your clients when you market it, and create incredible results for you, right? So being confident in your marketing takes a few different things, right? It takes removing subconscious blocks. It takes having clarity in your business and knowing the transformation that you provide. And then it also, requires that you have a specific framework in your business that you can say, this is my coaching framework that provides this, X result. And this is something that we also do in the mastermind in this align phase. So we're looking at those pieces of your business. What is your framework? How can you market that? How can we position you as the authority versus anyone else? And how can we get more confident and bold in your marketing? So the second piece that you can implement this week to increase your sales is to think, why am I the person that people should invest in for 2025 to get the results that I claim that they get? So let's say like you're an OBM or even like a health coach or something, just thinking very strategically, like, why am I the person that people need to invest in? And then going and marketing on that. So if you are, let's say, that health coach, maybe what you do differently than anyone else is the fact that you have like integrative testing in your framework or something like that. So then marketing about that, basically saying something like, you need to hire me in 2025 to see X result. because of XYZ thing, and getting really, really loud and confident in your marketing about what you do. The next piece to marketing, so I've already given you 2 prompts that you can implement this week. Do it and then tag me in them. The next thing I want you to do is create more activating content that moves your audience without the Stripe screenshots. So this is going to look like learning how to activate your audience to move without urgency, without money, and without saying like there are X spots available or the price is raising at this point in time, right? And there's a lot of different ways to do that. And that is where the tailored support comes in the mastermind, because that's a hard prompt to create, right? Like you could say something along the lines of like, you would already be seeing X result if you hired me. And that's a great way to create activating content. But also that is something where we can look at one-on-one, like what is your audience, what actually motivates your audience to buy, and how can we consistently create this type of content to get them to move now versus down the line. So this is ultimately learning how to sell the transformation, not the modality. So not the fact that you're a VA, not the fact that you're an OBM, not the fact that you're a health coach, not the fact that you do hypnosis. We're selling the transformation of your framework versus the modality. And honestly, people don't really care about the modality. They care about what it gives them, and they care about how you're going to get them there. And that's the most important piece in all of this. So this is just one area in the mastermind that we look at within the aligned part of the framework. Again, reprogram. Then we're aligning these pieces like your framework, your marketing, your messaging, your offers, your brand to where you want to go to execute, right? So the last piece of this framework is execute, and this is essentially taking action on the strategy that we've created. So once we've created the framework, putting into place the content pieces, the marketing, the lives, the leadership and conviction that you've learned, the building momentum without scarcity, also like implementing content that we just talked about, right? Like the actual execution to scale. So it's executing to scale, right? And all of these pieces within this framework, we're going to consistently look at with each new level. I kind of think about subconscious reprogramming and business strategy as like an onion. We're peeling back layer by layer, right? And we're always going to have to come back to basics. We're always going to have to come back to the foundations and aligning our business strategy. I know for me, there was a certain part in my time in my business where I was doing something like monthly masterclasses. I was doing these like 60-minute monthly masterclasses. I had a Facebook group. I had, all of these pieces that I was implementing through that Facebook group, like a funnel. And every single month I would do a new free masterclass, and people would join the Facebook group to join the masterclass, and it was this whole thing, right? I reached a point in my business where, again, as I'm looking at the alignment part, where that just didn't make sense anymore, where I needed to look at other ways to build that trust with my clientele without having to get on this hour and a half, 90-minute long masterclass every single month. Not only because I was obviously seeing really great results from it, but just because after a year of doing that, I was like, okay, what are other ways that, aren't going to require this much time for me every single month? Because that's not only time in showing up on the live, it's also time that I was creating the training, and time that I was creating the PowerPoint, and time that I was, creating the emails for the training, all of the things, right? So how can I implement and create this level of safety with my audience without having to do this every single month? So that was just, one piece in the puzzle that I needed to align to then execute on. And so now I do, different things. I have other funnels, right? And so that's just an example of how we do this. But again, that framework being reprogram, align. I was like, that doesn't sound right. And execute to these higher income months. We're always going to go in a circle here, and we're going to hit these at different points depending on where you're at in your business. And I think the other thing that it's important to note with the mastermind is that this is a repeatable process, but also it's tailored to you. So the amazing thing about the mastermind is that you're getting the tailored support and tailored action plan. So like one of my clients I talked about in a behind the scenes video today, she hit her first 9K month like early on in the mastermind without needing to do sales calls. And so for her specifically, the reprogram, align, and execute piece was different than my other client who's an OBM and needed to completely restructure her product suite and offer suite to align with higher cash months. And now she's hitting consistent 13K months, right? But now we're looking at, okay, how do we realign the pricing and the offer suite and the strategy and the marketing to, get to the 20K month mark, right? So there's just some examples of where we look at these pieces, but we're always doing the reprogramming. We're always doing the reprogramming. We're always coming back to this, right? So overall, I just wanted to go through that framework. So the mastermind is $4,000 off. We're raising the price by $4,000 on January 8th. And also there are additional bonuses that are available before the 1st. So you technically have like 48 hours to get access to those bonuses by January 1st. So DM me a mastermind if you want to have a conversation about it, or if you have any questions about this framework. I think the best thing that you can do is just send me a DM and say something like, Addison, this is what I'm creating. These are my goals. This is where I want to go. What's the best offer for me? How do we work together? And then I can, based on that, ask you questions and we can have a conversation about the best place for you. But I'm so excited to open up these conversations. You have 48 hours. And then remember, the price is also raising next week. So I will talk to you soon. I love you all, lovely humans. Also, Happy New Year as well too.